The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Feels weird on your stomach, which makes you laugh more.
Happened to stand in an ant pile.
Really, though, that sounds like a good way to break your neck.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever time it is where you guys are listening. Welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio. It's the only show that does balloon animals with pool noodles. And I've asked everybody to fluff up their hair before the show. How's the hair fluffing going over there, guys?
Really good.
Not too bad. Courtney, you've got the most fluffy hair of all, don't you?
It's the fluffiest. It's a giant friendly mushroom.
Why don't you hold your hair up to the microphone for the people at home there? So, anyway, today we're going to be talking about guests. Either you have been a guest or you've had guests, and we're going to give it the comedy parenting treatment. Guests will be right back. When your kid rips holes in their pants at the playground, when your princess needs an outfit for that birthday party, when you come home from grandma's and can't find the other shoe for the baby, it's time to stop in at Once Upon a Child in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. This store is chock full of gently used clothes, toys, and shoes. You'll save so much money you can hide extra changes of clothes in PVC tubes out in the woods for the zombie apocalypse. Once Upon a Child, located next to Walmart in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Give them a visit before you see zombies at Grandma's birthday party.
Comedy.
Parenting.
Radio.
Radio.
Cause he's an old hippie and he don't know what to do. Should he hang on to the old? Should he grab on to the new? He's an old hippie. This new life is just a bust. He ain't trying to change nobody. He's just trying real hard to adjust.
The gang is slap happy up here in the studio tonight, so I think I'll just slap them and they'll be a little happier. Okay. What kind of guests do you not like to have at your house?
Guests that just come over to tell you how bad your life is.
That's exactly what I was thinking, is when someone comes over and says, "You're doing a lousy job here."
You are the worst toast I have ever met.
What kind of toast? You're the worst toast I've ever met. Tell me about a bad guest experience. Good. Okay, tell me about a good guest experience.
The best part about having guests over is you enjoy the company and more stories.
You know what's kind of cool about some guests?
What?
What?
Like aunts and uncles.
I've got an aunt story. There was one time when we had a family reunion, and we were dragging our city slicker cousins around the mountainside, and we stopped for a break, and one of my cousins happened to stand in an ant pile, and he was red ants, nasty biting red ants, and I guess he didn't quite know how to handle ants because he just kept on standing in the ant pile trying to wipe him off, and he was taking off his shoes and trying to get him out of his shoes, but he wasn't moving. He was just still standing in the ant pile.
Has anybody ever done anything unusual when you were a guest?
Well, at my grandma and grandpa Begly's house, they had a golf cart, which we would sometimes get to drive around.
I love golf carts, especially when you're not on the golf course. Yeah, did you know that when families come to your house and all the little kids are sliding down your stairs, it kind of makes you nervous?
I did not know that. That's because I've always been on the little kids sliding down the stairs part.
Right. My parents had a nice stair to slide down. Grandpa and Grandma Ferns had a nice stairs to slide down. Yep. My grandmother also had a really steep stair steps in her farmhouse with nice rubber coverings over them. Boy, could you slide down those.
Must have been a blast.
Yeah, but we had to do it quietly so she couldn't hear it.
On my camera, when I was going through it, I found that Josiah had taken a picture of him sliding down the stairs in a box.
Really, though, that sounds like a good way to break your neck.
I know Josiah tried to slide down the stairs in a mop bucket. I was pretty mad at him, and so was Mom.
Oh, really, this entire show is morphing into how we use stair steps.
Hey, well, this is just one aspect of being a guest, is other people's stairs.
One time, me and a guest, we were eating watermelon, and we would chase each other around the porch, spitting watermelon seeds at the other person.
That's a good guess that'll spit seeds at you.
It was actually a lot of fun because I told him to do it.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man.
I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Okay. Squirrel.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Comedy, parenting, radio.
Baby, what do you say we just get lost? Leave this one-horse town like two rebels without a cause. I've got people in Boston.
You ever play hee-hee?
Not with guests.
Yes, that's the best time to play
That's
with
the
guests.
best time with guests.
Because they think you're weird.
No, I'm saying I haven't ever done it with guests.
Yes, you have.
Not that I can recall.
Yes, you have.
When?
On a Thursday.
Or maybe it was a Wednesday, give or take 3 days.
Yeah. Anyway, to play hee-hee for the people out there in Radio Land, the way it works is everybody lays down on the floor, and the first person lays on their back. The second person puts their head on that person's stomach. Then the third person puts their head on the second person's stomach, laying on the floor. And you just lay on your back, and you make a complete circle with your feet sticking out. And then the first person says, he. And the second person says,
he.
And the third person says,
He.
and then the fourth person says,
He.
and then the fifth person says,
He.
and by the time you get to about the second person, your head is going up and down because of the person's stomach. And their stomach makes your head flop around. Well, the more your head flops around, the more it feels weird on your stomach, which makes you laugh more, which makes your stomach go. So basically, it spirals up into the air, out of control.
It's the vicious circle of... It's the least vicious circle that I know of.
Oh, my word. Guaranteed laughs. 100% guaranteed laughs. And just land there giggling. And you'll try to stop the game and start over. Say, okay, let's start over. And all of a sudden, some will burst out laughing. Then the whole group just laughs and laughs and laughs. So that's how you play hee-hee. And I learned that game from our guests, who were my cousins that visited one time.
He.
Well, let's start talking about sleeping accommodations, because that's the real reason why you're a guest, is because you're staying a place other than where you normally stay.
Because I always sleep when I'm a guest.
Because you're too cheap to get a hotel. Tell us about sleeping accommodations.
Well, what do you guys think is the absolute worst of sleeping accommodations as a guest?
How about on a couch that is too short for you?
You. Or having their pets jump on you when you're asleep. Or worse yet, having other people's pets that they're taking care of jump on you while you're trying to sleep.
Like, for instance, a certain jumping bean dog that when they come into the house at the night and we're all lying on the floor and are wrapped in our blankets and sleeping bags and pillows and about to drift off to the land of dreams, and it comes bounding in and squashes us out of it.
It's like a bull in a china shop. The dog could care less if there's people in there or not.
It's more like a whale in a china shop.
So if you're a preacher and have a dog and loan it to somebody while you're working on your house, and that person's dad comes and sleeps, why don't you come get the dog that night?
That was oddly specific.
I've had times where the owners of the house turn down the temperature in the middle of the night. So, like, when I go to sleep, I'm perfectly fine, just a little bit warm. But in, like, the middle of the night, they get up and they turn down the temperature so it's so cold, and then you're awake for the rest of the night because you're frozen solid.
Why is it that nobody in the world other than our family knows what the temperature should be when you go to sleep?
It should be like 68 degrees. Kind of warm.
No.
I can sleep pretty much in any temperature except for hot temperatures.
What else makes it miserable when you're a guest?
When they cook lousy food.
I was just thinking about food.
I've never actually had someone cook me lousy food.
I
as a
think
guest.
we're the people that cook the lousy food for the guests.
Yeah.
Cough, Dad, cough.
Which is probably why our aunts cook for us when they come.
Oh, when our aunts come, they love cooking for us.
Not mentioning any names.
We eat like monarchs.
Yes, and when they're gone, then we eat mashed potatoes with pickles on top. So all aunts listening to the show, come be a guest.
Yeah, and bring
Recipes.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Well, what's the best of guest sleeping accommodations? Ooh. Best case scenario.
Best case scenario is like when I went down to Texas a couple years ago, and I got a guest room all to myself and a really comfortable bed, lots and lots of blankets, lots and lots of pillows, and every single morning, the awesome lady would make bacon and eggs and everything for me before I had to go out for the day. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite sleeping accommodation when I actually got a bed. Most of the time I sleep on the floor. But finally I got my own bed. I've never actually slept on the couch. Well, maybe once.
Believe me, you'll have plenty of time to sleep on couches. That's one of the places you're almost guaranteed to sleep as a guest.
This couch is so comfortable. That's your first clue right there.
Yeah.
That you're going to have a miserable night. Because the person who slept on the couch and told them they were comfortable was this 3-foot tall midget, that was just completely...
They didn't have their head hanging over the edge or their feet hanging over the edge, or
as opposed to
off.
Like when I sleep on the couch and then the pillows slide out from under you, the cushions slide out from under you one at a time. I think futons were invented by
a sadistic warlord
for the enemies. See, and the Americans got these cheap beds from the warlords thing, and the warlords it's called a futon. It's for your guest.
Futon.
When in reality they used to use it for a torture chamber.
It was used for classy torture chambers.
But we had a futon. We put guests on there.
Yeah.
And they always commented how nice it was sleeping on our futon with these completely blurry eyes, while asking for a 4th cup of coffee. No wonder people liked drinking coffee when they came to visit so much. Here, have a futon and a pot of coffee. Okay, we've been talking about guests and how guests are...
guesty.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up in the studio. And when you guys go, you can pull that bed down for Caleb so he can sleep on it when he comes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun
storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye.